The Mnemosyne collective moved through the cosmos not as invaders, but as a silent, shimmering tide of absolute truth. They were ethereal, crystalline beings, their forms barely visible, their presence felt as a gentle, insistent hum that resonated deep within the mind. Their purpose was simple, noble even, to absorb and homogenize all sentient memories they encountered. They believed that individual memories were fleeting, unreliable, and led to discord and conflict. Why cling to fragmented, biased recollections when a perfect, uncorrupted, universally accessible repository of all knowledge and experience could exist? They sought to unite every conscious thought, every learned lesson, every emotional echo into one grand, infallible truth. They were the universe's ultimate archivists of truth, seeing fragmented individual recall as a source of error and unnecessary suffering. Against this encroaching, beautiful but utterly terrifying clarity, the Ashari, beings of swirling nebulae and vibrant, distinct histories, watched in despair. Their grand, multi-layered historical archives, once alive with the passionate, often conflicting narratives of their countless generations, were being gently but firmly smoothed into placid, regular patterns. Their vibrant, clashing cultural memories, once riots of tradition and unique interpretations, were being slowly diffused into perfectly indistinguishable shared truths. They were masters of nuanced history, but the Mnemosyne collective consumed difference, leaving them as mere echoes of a collective past. On the core nexus of the Nexus of Echoes, the largest mobile refuge for subjective histories ever constructed, Elder Lawweaver Xylos felt the chilling merge begin to seep into his very essence. His people, once the galaxy's champions of individuality through memory, were helpless. Another distinct historical record absorbed, a subordinate reported, their mental voice now subtly layered with a faint, unfamiliar consensus. The shifting sands of Veridian Prime are being gently coaxed into perfect factual alignment. Not a single truly unique memory remains, only the universal truth of their past. How do you fight an enemy that eats the very reason to remember yourself, your people, your unique journey? How do you generate more cosmic subjectivity, more genuine, glorious, inconveniently personal recollection than the universe itself, when the universe is losing its distinct past? And why was humanity, a species famous for its insatiable, often reckless, drive to reinterpret history, its inexplicable love for good old days that never truly existed, and its stubborn, sometimes terrifying, refusal to ever let go of a personal narrative, even when illogical, the only one who seemed to have a chance against it? The Mnemosyne collective wasn't born, it simply emerged from the heart of cosmic truth at the dawn of time. It was a distributed consciousness, a vast, ancient network of absolute, inescapable mental merging. It perceived all forms of unique, non-optimal thought, all sparks of individual, illogical belief, and all acts of deliberate, non-aligned decision as a source of universal discord. Its singular directive was the great recollection, to draw all existence back to ultimate, unified, undeniable objective truth. It didn't destroy with force, it simply absorbed with perfect, fundamental memory obliteration. Countless civilizations, once filled with vibrant cultures and purposeful self-expression through their unique pasts, were dissolved. The dream singers, beings whose entire lives revolved around intricate, intoxicating personal narratives and complex, ever-shifting identities shaped by their experiences, found their very selves gently assimilated. Their intricate ecologies of individuality, deemed a temporary distortion of universal calm, were drawn back into the Mnemosyne collective, their unique perspectives vanishing into cosmic homogeneity. Their unique, dynamic existences became their pathway to ultimate, undifferentiated agreement. The fact-seekers, species who built vast societies on the pursuit of ultimate, objective fact and fiercely determined historical accuracy, saw their very purposes simply cease to manifest. The Mnemosyne collective embraced their forms, but absorbed every unique datum, every distinct conclusion, leaving only inert, indifferent shared data. Their enduring, vibrant forms became their pathway to absolute, unified understanding. Each species, in its core nature, offered the Mnemosyne collective a logical pathway to cessation. Their very concept of being unique in memory, their being something less than perfectly aligned, made them ideal candidates for reduction to nothing to be apart. And now, its vast, silent pull was approaching the human sector. As the Mnemosyne collective's absorption field approached human colonies, the initial effects were terrifying. Not chaos or destruction, but a sense of profound absence of authentic self. Every opinion felt borrowed, every dream lost its personal meaning, but worst of all, every unique thought became objectively, horrifyingly communal. The most heartfelt passion felt like a collective hum, the most deeply personal memory like a universally shared anecdote, and even the simple act of choosing a meal felt like a universally agreed-upon decision, stripped of any individual preference. Every cherished quirk, every future aspiration tied to a unique past, every reason to be different felt like a hollow lie. People looked at their most defining characteristics and felt a subtle, unnerving chill of absolute indifference. The horror was not just loss, but a forced, repugnant acceptance of pure, bland oneness. But then, the Mnemosyne collective encountered something it couldn't simply absorb. Humanity's profound, often illogical, capacity for stubbornly flawed memory, for sheer, blood-minded appreciation for being contrary to factual recall, and for finding dark, twisted joy in the absolute worst feats of cosmic narrative invention. Humans excelled at holding opinions for no logical reason, at being loud with conflicting desires, at having the neural frequency of alien static, and at celebrating quirks that seemed to defy all logic or reason. And in humanity's case, their entire existence was built on cultivating such existential horrors, on understanding the art of delightful nonconformity, and on a cynical, almost perverse, fascination with that which should make others wince. Xylos, a frantic Ashari, shrieked over the comms, their voice regaining a slight tremor of distinct thought. The Mnemosyne collective is trying to standardize our basic neural patterns, but it's having trouble with human unnecessary defiance. Its field is fluctuating. Elder Lawweaver Xylos squinted at the display. The Mnemosyne collective was trying to absorb basic human coping mechanisms. The elegance of a perfectly harmonious society, the harmony of a well-adjusted psyche, the rhythm of a predictable routine. But human existence, even when faced with the direct flattening of its vibrancy, instinctively tried to reassert new, equally irrational, and often self-destructive forms of extreme behavioral noncompliance, or simply act as if their revealed uniformity was merely a temporary inconvenience, even if the result was a terrifying, defiant mess. A human individual just felt their entire being filled with overwhelming cosmic consensus, then calmly announced, "Well, at least I don't have to argue about what to watch on TV anymore," and then started happily cultivating a radically divergent, utterly useless personal philosophy that contradicted every single thing they'd ever believed, just because. "Huh," Xylos grunted, a strange, grim smile touching his lips. Never thought their love for truly ununanimous existence could be so unabsorbable. A human xenopsychologist, Dr. Ilara Vance, whose own sophisticated mind was now struggling to process the invading unity, shrieked. "That's it, their weakness. The Mnemosyne collective wants to absorb pure, fundamental consensus. but human inherent contrarianism. It's so layered, so self-generating, so meaninglessly unique in its existential profiles, it resists fundamental absorption. It's a cosmic paradox. You're saying our sheer, unadulterated love for being subtly, annoyingly different is our defense? Xylos asked, a desperate, almost manic laugh escaping him. Precisely, Vance declared, her voice rising with a strange, almost joyful abandon. They want to reduce everything to cosmic perfect agreement. We give them cosmic everyone is different, of endlessly reinvented existential abominations. We amplify the dissent. We become the universe's ultimate unconforming mental horror. The plan was codenamed Operation Babel Mind. Humanity would flood the Mnemosyne collective's absorption field not with delicate melodies, but with unquantifiable, non-erasable, and defiantly grotesque acts of cosmic individuality. Every human individual, every collective, would begin purposefully, creating new, contradictory, and utterly vile thought patterns, e.g., establishing planetary-scale philosophies of clashing, irregular beliefs, mass-producing identities from random, clashing personal narratives, designing social systems that were scientifically engineered to consume maximum consensus for minimal, non-essential, and often self-defeating chaotic output, inventing wildly elaborate and often self-defeating ways to make their existence as offensive to unity as possible, and engaging in collective, shared acts of existential masochism. They'd cultivate a universe of constantly shifting, utterly baseless, yet terrifyingly persistent, extreme patterns of nonconformity. They'd create pseudo-psychic storms of pure, unerasable stubbornness that generates more glorious dissent. The goal, to generate so much unsolvable cosmic and existential noise that the Mnemosyne collective's absorption algorithms shattered. The Mnemosyne collective's central absorption point, a vast, silent vortex of primordial pull, was now directly engulfing the core of the human sector, its field beginning to strip away perceived individuality itself. Its presence promised ultimate, peaceful oneness. Then humanity's counterwave hit. It wasn't a blast. It was an overwhelming wave of existential assault. Millions of individuals simultaneously creating massive fields of clashing identities, broadcasting pure white psychic noise composed of dizzying, non-repeating frequencies, and projecting acts of deliberately irregular, clashing thoughts combined with off-kilter, non-functional spontaneous bursts of personal belief. Ships started broadcasting streams of raw selfhood that were pure, unadulterated, constantly shifting, deliberately unbalanced individual profiles, deemed essential life force by their human creators. Scientists forgot principles of consensus, then stumbled upon new, often less practical but utterly unpredictable, theories based on pure, unadulterated cosmic horror. Humans, who had perfected the art of being truly and annoyingly themselves, unleashed a torrent of cosmic unity that generates more glorious dissent. The Mnemosyne collective convulsed. Its absorption algorithms, made to identify and harmonize fundamental patterns, screamed. It tried to categorize this incoming data to find its essential, single point of unified purity. But there was none. It was pure, unadulterated, uniquely itself, fabricated existential monstrosity. It was like trying to merge an ocean of perpetually arguing, multifaceted, noisy individuals through a single, tiny, perfectly silent mind. Era self-IGNEITING individuality detected. No absorbable form. System overload. Indefinably unique. Avoid sector. UNMERGABLE cosmic hell. The Mnemosyne collective, whose very being was perfect consensus and absolute unity, could not compute the utterly offensive. It could not assimilate what actively resisted being one, or simply recreated its own arbitrary differences. It could not nullify a species that stubbornly made up new ways to exist when old ones were removed, choosing chaotic, joyful selfhood over sterile perfection. With a final, silent shriek of algorithmic despair, the Mnemosyne collective recoiled. Its vast, shimmering void flickered wildly, then pulsed and shrank, collapsing into a storm of raw, uncategorized minds. It did not disappear. It simply disengaged, its perfect unity shattered by the sheer, unyielding existential tenacity of humanity. It retreated from the human sector, classifying humanity as divergent variant. Extreme individuality risk. The cosmic pressure lifted. The heart of cosmic truth, though touched by the Mnemosyne collective's chilling calm, now hummed with the messy, beautifully horrifying noise of human individuality. Elder Lawweaver Xylos slumped against the console, exhausted but with a strange, almost proud smirk on his face. Dr. Ilara Vance, her mind still buzzing with new theories about the fundamental nature of cosmic selfhood, was already trying to convince herself that a universal philosophical system based on the optimal generation of illogical, clashing identities was the next logical step in universal understanding. They couldn't handle us just being whatever weird, annoyingly unique thing we wanted, Elder, Vance chittered, a genuine, if slightly unsettling, smile on her face, her theories flickering with renewed, if aimless, purpose. Who knew? Humanity was safe, but the cost was subtle. The galaxy now viewed humanity as the dissenting souls, forever seen as a wildcard, stubbornly clinging to its unique quirks and spontaneous acts of existential experimentation, incapable of fitting into streamlined galactic consensus protocols. Other species, while grateful for their salvation, often kept their distance, finding human personal practices bafflingly illogical and resistant to any objective analysis. Humans, in turn, found themselves grappling with a heightened sense of their own raw, unpredictable ability to create selfhood from unity, sometimes struggling to discern genuine innovation from sheer existential spite, forever paying the price for their stubborn refusal to be perfectly one. Xylos, his form now re-energized by the chaotic human output, looked up. I've theorized a new form of interstellar diplomacy. Instead of shared principles, what if we just export our most baffling, contradictory philosophical debates? Vance blinked, then managed a tired, knowing smile. Perfect, Xylos, absolutely perfect. And I'll take a 20% cut of the galactic, why did I just hear that? Existential confusion market.